You should be.
Spank said he's coming though.
I don't want to let Rage join the VC. We can.
You got it set to 8, by the way. So Spank won't be able to join.
Could I open it up a little?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, hi.
Yo.
So I was in this. So today I learned that there is third person in this game.
Yep.
There sure is.
We've played third person Grifball. That was one of Death's games types.
So I've heard.
Oh, how long ago was that? I think I remember that.
Not only that,
it wasn't
but,
good.
I left. I was just in a firefight game, and I left in the middle of it, and all I hear right now is the background noise of it.
Interesting.
This game is genuinely trash that I'm hearing matchmaking music when I'm sitting in a custom game lobby of a game that I'm no longer in.
Yeah, trying to get the black screen to turn off, Kelly. I don't know why game capture appears to be broken.
I'm gonna turn on my thing and
You probably changed your settings when you were streaming the
yeah,
game
okay,
yesterday.
I got it. I just had to toggle it. No, because the game I was capturing was still Halo Infinite. But I don't know why that turned off.
Also, I'm really not trying to play against Chemical right now, so I'd appreciate not putting him in this custom. He doesn't play like Fancy or ASpence. It just won't be helpful.
Lux isn't here.
well, the lobby was filled.
Chemical's whole team here? Is this his whole team?
Yeah, it's his whole team.
Let's just play against them, I guess.
Luxati was gonna join, but then the lobby was filled.
So no Plex and Spank, or is it no Plex that has to switch out, or Mav?
I mean, Spank said he's coming, but I don't know. I just need to warm up. I don't care who it is. You got a half hour.
It's join streams, yeah.
Yeah, I'll get that set up in a second.
I don't understand why I can't do it. I literally have no option here. It does not exist. I can do it with like other streams sometimes. Like it comes up.
Okay, you're viewing my stream when you do it.
Yeah, I've tried it when I'm viewing your stream. Oh, so it's just, oh, damn it, I just lost it.
Okay.
For a moment, it showed I could knock on someone's stream.
Mine works fine.
Like,
I'll just do it.
Do that.
Do we get it?
I think so.
Okay. Turn that to mute. Share chat. Enable. Okay. Minimize. Thank you.
Cool.
Did they reply?
No Plex left.
Okay. I guess I'll just switch chem and put Bam on observer.
That's fine.
Appreciate you,
Wait,
Kelly.
I want to collaborate
This is
with myself.
this is
What
warm
is
ups.
Why is this here? I can ban myself.
You can ban yourself.
Yeah, it's like Rage More Nerd wants to collaborate, but it's me. And then I click on it. It's like, you want to ban them, time out, or block them? What happens if I block myself?
How do you get an Eli X's community?
I used to be all in that snipers FFA stuff during COVID. I spent a lot of time in it.
You're like in his stream community. That's cool.
Yeah. I don't know who added me to it. I'm assuming it was him, but yeah, I used to spend a lot of time in there. He's cracked. He is
Penguin
insane.
go right, I'll go middle.
I usually beat him when I run into him in ranked, but yeah, in snipers he'd
Yeah.
fuck me up. Ooh.
Man, yeah, I don't know how he is an infant. I'm sure he's outrageous.
Yeah, he's
but,
still
man,
good.
Him in Halo 3 was a different kind of monster.
Nice double. He tried to compete, but he didn't do so hot.
No, it's not just. It's not at that level. It's not just. It's usually not mechanics.
It's kind of teamwork. He's a good solo player. I'm rapping to you, Penguin. I see you, Shrek. Damn. This map shouldn't be allowed, dude. But yeah, this is just warm-ups here, Kelly. Games in half an hour. Ball's out. It's on plate. Up part's weak. Priest on plate. Got pop cart. Are you guys talking? Are you guys talking? I don't know why I can't hear Discord.
Okay.
Okay. That was weird. My Discord like crashed, but I'm back.
I just got a solid RTDS there.
Spawning now.
Cam left.
I'm gonna have to throw that.
Your outlet.
Yeah.
Get up court if you can.
I'm up right.
Get up court. Yep, I see you.
Big guy saw left. He's behind play.
Damn, Kem caught me. That
Back
sucks.
left.
Okay, I'll get it.
I'm right. Chemical sword out on your left.
Nice double.
Yep.
Coming. I got wall. Let's go. Good punch.
Nice.
Nice. Feeling good, boys. Keep it going.
Anything other than Sigma Stadium hurts my eyes. I actually don't mind this court.
No, it doesn't
kinda
look
cool.
too bad.
I don't like it.
I don't like the desert one.
Jeez. Just everywhere. Alright, I got your
Wish we
outlet.
had-
I gotta throw that one.
I wish we had some of our old Halo 5 courts. We used to have some amazing Halo 5 content. Throw that in.
Oh, you headbutted it. That's so lucky.
Yeah, we have all of them on our
I
spawn.
killed Cam.
We're good, we're good. Did he get both of us? Oh, what?
Yeah.
Damn.
What a joke.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm
Nice-
hot, boys.
nice D,
I'm
nice
feeling
D.
good.
Nice kill.
Ooh,
Ah, we're feeding Priest.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Slow priest down if we can. Nice, rage. Nice, dude.
Oh, that doesn't kill
Oh,
him.
nice try. I'm throwing that out.
Okay. Spawning.
Good throw. Let's go right. Penguin, I got you.
Nice kill.
Ah, I missed my reload. Getting too impatient with that swing.
Throwing up
Swing
left to
left.
you.
Luke Tart's still right.
He's dead.
Damn.
Sorry.
Nice goal.
I was trying to get him as he respawned Penguin. That's my bad.
You're good.
This is a white penguin.
I just deleted him.
Oh, I'm over here whipping. Oh,
Ball's right.
No, he's got me. Ah, he's too fast.
Runner's weak.
yep, nice. Good kill, Priest. They throw ball up.
Nice, Penguin. I'm with you, Ridge. Nice.
Runner's weak.
Ah, he spawned right on me. It sucks.
Oh, I didn't get thrust back. Fuck.
Nah, I didn't think he saw me. They're coming hard on the left.
Tanked up. Runner's
Good
weak.
pressure.
Left.
Nah, there was good punch.
I only got a tray with Chem.
Oh, he's weak. He's weak. He's weak.
Still weak.
Nice sword.
Plate. One on plate. One on plate.
I'm
Behind
dead.
you.
I'm dead. Yeah.
I got him.
Try to spread it out a little bit.
Coming up to you, Shrek.
No, he's patient. He's well done.
That's Chem.
Alright, stay left or right if you can. And try to get up forward.
Nice. They betrayed. They
I'm got me
betrayed.
mid. Watch behind you.
Go right when you guys respawn. I'm going plate. I'm
Gonna
just gonna
walk
play
that
the
up.
side. Don't throw it. Don't
Okay.
throw it yet.
Oh, they had both swung.
I'm just gonna stay alive. Try
Yeah,
to eat up
Pop
some
starts
space.
pushing me out.
Well
Nice
done.
kill.
Kills. Good plays.
We got a 5-0 these guys?
This is a team.
I did. This
They're
is, oh, they
subbing
got a
Big
five.
Al for Sev, which
That
isn't
is a
too
downgrade.
crazy. It's definitely a downgrade, but
Oh lord. Just got pooped on. Just slow him down. Nice. Nice.
ooh,
Mine.
Gotcha.
Nice pickup.
Nice.
I got ball.
I'm behind you.
Let's reset. Don't feed. Let's go left, Penguin. I got the wall. Oh, I thought you were still with me. My bad.
Chem freaking missed his sword, and that scared the shit out of me.
I'm left or right, right.
Pop Tart's walling me off. Can't get to you. Cute.
Nice kill.
Alright.
Priest got me.
Oh, I screwed up. No, I didn't. Oh, lucky. The respawning, careful.
Oh, yeah. I thought I had the
Unfortunate
timing
spawn.
on it.
It's always
Literally
the
right in
worst
your
spawn.
face.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
always
it's the worst.
inside, closest to my path.
Cam got me mid.
They're so patient when I'm running away. They play that really well. Nice.
Runner weak.
Kills.
He's gonna thrust at us.
I. What's that?
Nice.
BK
nice.
God is here. Hell yeah.
Regressor.
Yeah. The new WoW streamer.
You mean Pokemon Go streamer?
No, he does WoW now.
I killed everyone.
Nice. Epic.
Get out of here, Pop Tart.
Oh,
Just go, just go, just go. Really awkward.
Yeah,
I
we're all
got caught in a
dead.
weird spot. I ninja Pop-Tart, got all excited.
Left if you can.
I might have to
No,
throw
right,
this.
right,
Yeah.
Wow. One on your left still.
There we go.
Careful.
Yep.
Nice clear. Nice clear.
Nice.
Game's in about what, 45
20,
minutes?
25
Oh, no,
or
no,
15.
Sorry. 15.
Yeah.
15 minutes. Sorry, I'm like half paying attention, but I'm looking at that. I won't do that during game, of course.
Here. I got you if you need to throw it.
I'm okay.
Just go up court, just leave him.
Pop-Tart's walling me in the corner still.
Alright,
I'm gonna throw that.
Here, Rage.
I've got it.
Dead off spawn.
Behind. I threw it back to our right. That may have been a really bad throw. No, it was
No,
perfect,
we're good.
actually.
Just try to take space if they're gonna give it to
Let's
us.
go left, go left, go left.
Go
A lot of
left,
space
yep,
over
yep,
here.
yep. Help on the left, guys.
Got Cam.
I see you, Penguin. Just
Spread
hold
it
him
out.
there. Yeah. Nice kills.
I
Oh,
got him again.
Nice kill.
Stay over there if you can. I'm going plate. They don't see me, I don't think.
I'm
Yeah.
throwing it to you. Nice.
Nicely done.
Let's go.
Nearing victory. Round 5.
Victory is nearly ours.
Oh, I'm dead, I'm dead.
They didn't grab it?
Nice live.
Cheating?
Oh, the ball hit Rage in the head.
Yeah, it did.
We have the ball.
I'm wrapping left.
Good punch.
He's so carried by that thrust.
Oh, I choked, I
So
choked.
frustrating.
Pop-Tart made a good play.
Ball dropped. Ball dropped. Ball taken.
I don't know how you win that shit.
On the left, on the left.
It's all bullshit. This game is just trash.
Ready to pop?
We're good.
Damn.
GG's.
You go.
Well
Triple
done.
kill. Flawless victory.
Thought you were an enemy. I tried to lunge you.
What do you
Alright,
mean,
do we want
Lux?
to do we want to do another, or do we want to take a break?
I'd like to do more.
Let's watch that shit back.
I'm down.
Run another.
Can't do much better than that, fellas. That was a nice
Yeah.
job. Yeah, let's do one
Yeah.
more.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to do what you mentioned, playing on the outside, trying to take space and pull someone away.
Let me just save that clip
Dude,
real
it's-
quick.
It's so helpful. Like, if we can create space, that's literally just how you create goals. It sounds simple, but like it's so impactful if you do it.
Dude, Novice pissed me off the other day. I'm playing different. I'm telling you.
Like it. I'm gonna get a little patriotic for these games. Bust out the red, white, and blue.
I'm gonna stick. What on your Spartan?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with my disgusting. My monster.
Christ.
Oh boy.
It looks like he
Uh,
went into like into like a bunch of biohazard shit, but it didn't work.
My freaking captures are all screwed up. There we go. Save. Warm up. Goal. Okay. Starting the next one. I should have changed it to Sigma, but whatever.
Grifball. Get balls into the goal for points.
Okay. Yo, get in that chat, man. There needs to be the watch party. Somebody was building a watch party.
I got left.
Round one.
Oh, they got us. Nothing.
I traded pop. I needed.
Cam right.
I didn't switch to my sword in time.
Got him. Nice.
I got you.
Good refrag.
Gosh, I cannot kill Pop Tart, dude.
It's fine. You don't have
Killed
to.
him, but it
He's-
killed
If he's
Penguin.
gonna play passive and backup, that's fine.
Yeah.
Run is weak.
Wow, he played that well. Thank you.
Yeah.
You saved my life.
Oh, I don't know why I swung that.
Huh, I wasted my thrust. Priest exploited it. Nice kill.
Make sure someone gets him on the right. I'm with you.
On him,
Rangers,
but
just double him.
he got me,
I
he got me.
I got him.
Nice. Good teamwork.
Energy kill confirmed.
Kim got me.
Got him.
It's gone.
Oh my gosh, dude. Pop Tart just won't swing.
No.
Runner's left.
Stay
Cam's
alive, stay
leading.
alive, stay alive.
He got me.
They threw back.
For a mid. One's still on the left. Nice, Rage.
Left got me.
Still
Big Al still on our
alive.
plate.
He played that well.
Killed.
Ball dropped.
Nice. Ooh,
Great.
run is very weak.
Pop Tart. Nice.
Runner's down. Nice.
Behind you.
I almost just had the biggest ego ever and went for that like an idiot.
Oh,
my
I
God.
totally whiffed.
They're so thirsty. Alright, let's stretch it out. I'm gonna go right. Oh, I'm coming. That was a bad idea.
Didn't let me
That was
punch
my
him.
fault.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
spawned.
No, that was I positioned that poorly. Epic, you gotta call me out if I try to do something like that.
Yeah. I didn't have time, and they all went forward.
Enemy team scored. Round lost.
And then I
That was
just
very
got a
stupid
blank
by
punch
me.
on Priest, but that's fine.
Round
It happens.
They have no idea who they're messing with.
Nice kill.
One going to our pad. Nice.
I'm getting spawn killed on our plate.
ball taken.
Okay.
Just don't move.
He's
Use
gone.
the
Yeah.
nice.
I just didn't know he
Oh,
was there.
that's fine. He came all the way back to kill me. That's fine.
Nice. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, good plays.
What? That was
Nice.
nasty.
It's kind of exploiting Big Al. A little
It was like
unaware.
a Lux type play. He just ran right by Pop.
Round three.
Our chance of victory is steadily increasing.
Wow, getting a single kill.
They're all up.
Ball taken.
Runner's weak. Mid. You threw it.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
We have the ball.
I knew he was gonna go for the pass. Tried to pick it.
Nice kill.
All right, hey, let's spread the court. Just stay alive. I'm gonna go right.
Okay.
You just can't die when we do this. Tanks. I got chemical over here.
Dead.
I gotta throw.
Got it right. I see a Shrek. Coming with you.
Why is Big Al still in our fucking spawn? It's so fucking annoying. Okay, throw that back.
Yep.
Oh, missed
Oh
me.
shit! I thought you were the spawner. Sorry.
Get ball. Nice.
One on our right spawn.
Wow, no trade.
Throwing
That's
right.
I got it.
get up court here.
Behind you.
Oh, just a tad early.
Throw it if you have to.
I didn't have time.
Right side.
I'm still right. Nice pick.
Idiot.
We both had that
I
pick.
threw it left. I panicked. I had 2 on me.
Sorry, we got it mid.
I got it.
Behind.
Stay alive,
It's
stay
priest.
alive. I'm going plate.
Fuck, dude.
I got it. Left.
We have the ball. Ball dropped. Ball dropped. We have the ball.
Yeah, got me. Good punch.
Target spotted.
Nice. Let's go.
Good patience.
Good.
Buddy.
Very good.
Round 4.
We are winning. I suggest continuing so.
Got one behind you guys. Oh, nice, nice, nice.
They both spawn inside, dude.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. It was unfortunate.
Like, just one of them needs to spawn wrong. Just one.
Ball dropped.
Nice.
Ooh, what a punch. What a punch.
I'm just gonna go for those when they're on their own plate. Like, runner's weak. He threw
Go
out.
back.
Go wide. Go wide. Go wide toward the spawn.
Ball thrown.
Priest still alive. Thank you.
I got him. I got him.
We have the ball.
What?
Oh, nice try, nice
He
try.
just ate that.
Mm.
Oh.
Ball taken. Ball taken. Ball dropped.
Priest on left. You got me.
Nice turnover.
We have the
Get up
ball.
court. Or no, no, no.
Ball dropped. We have the ball. Ball dropped.
Nice staying alive. Nice kills. Nice kills.
This game's trash.
Oh, boy, Penguin. Yes, sir.
Sorry, Ray.
Someone's gotta tell me how I killed Priest with that sword. His hammer was like, he literally hit me with the hammer with the animation. That's how far down his hammer was.
Advantage. Us.
I got 2.
I was really hoping that wouldn't kill you.
It's very unusual for me to be alive after getting a kill on Tipasa.
They're going mid.
Oh, it's okay. I got the ball.
I'm with you.
Ball dropped.
I love it.
Good pad. Oh, I threw it right to his face.
Pop-Tart weak.
That was just emotion. That's why I don't run in this game. What the fuck? RTDS again.
Pop-Tart weak.
Runner's weak left.
Got him.
Let's go.
Got a god spawn. Oh no. Okay, I got out. I got out.
Still one in the left corner.
Corner dead.
No.
Come left. Let's try to team take it out.
Good kills.
Wow, what a turn.
I got it back.
Good recovery.
Let's launch here.
Okay.
Nah, yeah, it was too slow. Sorry.
I thought you were
Ball's
penguin.
still there. Ball's still down.
I got it. I'm gonna swing
Go
left.
left. Yep.
I'm down. All tanks up.
Maximum.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's one I would just throw.
Yeah.
3 swords on you.
Ball's down.
He
No
whiffed it.
Oh, nice.
Ball dropped. Ball thrown.
Ah!
Ah, his reloads there.
Ball taken. Ball thrown. Ball taken.
Pop tart's
got one in our
kind
last
of
spawn.
in our spawn.
Cam got me mid.
Still over here. I got him.
Big kill. Nice. Nice job. Nice job. Works that swing.
I got a
Nice.
trick. They threw back.
We threw it out.
Ball taken.
Cam's nice.
Nah, it must be-
Corner's weak.
Nice rage.
Corner's weak.
Nice double.
Nice.
We have the ball. Ball dropped.
There we go.
He stole
Oh, no.
thrust.
It's alright. It's
I
alright.
threw it.
Oh,
Did you mean to? That looked weird.
I kind of was caught where I was gonna die, and then I thought Shrek might get an opportunity there.
Alright.
Hostile.
We're good.
Eviscerated.
Runner weak.
it's game time.
Okay. Yeah.
Alright, I'll be right back.
Ball thrown.
That was a good warm up
Pull
though.
me in like.
I like what I'm seeing tonight. Okay, I gotta everyone. Yo, Lux, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. I will do my best. I don't want to be a first round exit this time. I had Rage's stream open that whole last series. Quite lagging the fuck out of me.
Oh no.
There he is.
Yo, Regressor, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. I don't know why I don't think my alert box.
Is there time? Because I had to use the restroom really quickly.
Yeah, you got time. ASpence in the bathroom himself.
The pre-playoff P.
Yep. Crack, are you here?
Sure am.
Okay. Oh, god
Yo, the
damn it.
Timberwolves would score some damn points. That'd be cool. Maybe get some stops.
Apparently he's not going to run Aquario, so that was a big waste.
Oh, that map?
Yeah.
Oh,
Whatever.
my fault. I said I liked it.
Yeah. Yo, Noplex, thank you for the biddies. I appreciate it.
Wait, is that the one? Was that I wasn't really paying attention, but is that the one where the ball moves around on the tip off?
I think it does a little bit. Yeah.
Maybe that's why, because with the new game type, it rolls around a whole lot more.
Yeah. I just know every time I've played him, he's ran that map. So, Penguin, are you back? No Penguin yet. Shared hype train approaching. Go. Appreciate it,
From
guys.
one sub in bits. Nice.
Apparently.
They're very yeah, they really just throw that around now.
Well, I've never tried
Cool.
the shared hype train's a new thing, and I think it like might be because like it gets harder to hit the more you get.
Yeah.
And like I've had some decent ones in the past, so I haven't seen one in a while. So I'm a little surprised that I think it like reset it maybe. So I've had like
2.
I've had like 3 or 4 probably. So maybe the shared resets it a little, so they're easier to trigger. That's neat.
Is Rudy Gobert serious? Oh, he got fouled off. Everybody, don't forget to go vote for player awards. Vote Shrek for MVP and Tank. Vote Epic for runner and best captain and best looking Spartan. Vote for Penguin for best steal, and vote for me for Samurai best defender.
Wait, what about me?
Oh, Penguin, are you back?
Best steal.
Okay, are we ready?
Yep.
I'm ready.
Yep.
Okay.
X Factor, something like that. All the write-ins, vote somebody for all the write-ins. And yeah.
Too bad Penguin and I did not make the ballot for those categories, but we're about to prove them wrong.
Crazy disrespect.
Okay, let's play our game. I stay back.
Cool.
Epic, just really make sure we don't give pro runs.
Yeah.
That's the momentum killer.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, let's get after it.
Get balls into the goal for points.
Make sure you call out where you're going. Thrust
on
as soon as
the-
you spawn.
Looks like I'm on the middle, right?
Yep. Penguin can take middle, Rage, you take right, I'll take left. Let's get some good spacing too.
Round one.
Fancy trading.
They're very patient off tip off.
It's all good.
Good kills.
Fancy got me. He's going mid.
Yeah. Oh, left side.
Oh, okay. Slow him down. Just don't die. Middle.
Get out of here, boss.
Rage.
I got ball.
Rage. That's so clean.
We have the
So as soon as Smurf saw me, he took out his sword and tried to run at me. So that they are gonna try that. I got boss.
Nice kills.
Go.
Nice kills.
All right, Smurf got me. All right, yeah, I'm gonna try and herd them into you, Shrek, because they're just gonna try and trade with me. Fancy got me mid.
Back up a little,
Watch your left,
Shrek.
Penguin.
Nice.
Kills.
I screwed that up. My fault. My fault. Too greedy. Let's reset. Come left. Everybody reset.
Yep, they got 2 in our mid. ASpence behind. Good
Kill
kill.
one behind. Killed mid.
Nice kills.
Good punch. See you, Penguin. Nice try, nice try.
Yeah. They're paying attention. They're pulling away though. That's what we want.
Gotta use it.
Nice
2 left,
double.
Fancy's
Go
on
to
left.
mid.
Nice. Get up court. Get up court. Get up court.
I got Fancy. Good punch.
Funky early.
1 mid.
Come left.
2 mid. Watch that sword.
I got him. Okay, he's cheating.
He's dead. He's dead.
They're holding forward. Just throw it
Yeah,
out if
I'm
you
dead.
have to.
Oh,
They got ball left, they got
I
ball
clicked the wrong button. That's my fault. God damn it.
We need more kills anyway.
I meant
They're all
to
on our spawn.
throw it and I fucking hit punch.
Alright, let's just make sure we're playing together with our hammers. I got left.
I'm alright.
Down, but not out.
Got Fancy.
we have the ball.
Ball's on. Alright, nice. Good grab. Let's move up. Grade it.
Wow, that range is
Throwing.
nuts.
Ball's left.
Spence is on our mid, on our spawn.
I killed
Kill.
ASpence. One behind.
Trying to wrap right. They're all left right now. They're all left.
What happened to you?
Spence got me.
Get up court.
He's
stay
got
alive.
2.
Go Fancy us mid. Right, Spence.
Yeah, Spence gonna hold me here.
I got Spence.
Yeah, I'm wrapping back to you, Shrek.
And boss, I'm traded.
So mid. Back.
Oh, you got me.
Wow, he's alive. Should be a punch, no? Come right. Go, come on.
I won. I'm dead.
Whatever.
Good punch. Fancy's in our mid. He's just trying to bait my swing. Good kill. I whiffed.
Spread it out. Stay left or right. I mean, let's get some pressure here. Got 2 on
Fancy
me.
got me right.
Fancy's dead.
Good punch.
He traded me.
We got 1 on our left.
One on, yep, one on the left.
In the air.
I got him.
Graded. Good punches. Move left, they're right.
Yep, come on.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'm dead. You got 1 sword on your left.
Dead.
Good punch. Smurf in the air.
God, it's so annoying.
My shields are not coming back, and I don't know why. Okay.
I got. Oh, fancy gun. Wow. Okay.
Throw it. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
I'm okay.
Achieve.
Oh, okay. I
You
should
got
have
no
fucking
shields
thrown.
against the hammer, dude. Just throw it.
Yeah,
I got him.
I thought.
We're good, we're good.
We're good. Okay.
Fancy's our mid.
Fuck.
Got him.
Nice kills. Nice kills. Okay. Pretty mid. I see you, Shrek.
Working up to you. Oh my god, I thought I had that for sure.
Fancy's playing well.
Sorry. Good kills, good kills. We got one in the air.
We have to stretch it
Alright,
out. We're
alright.
not gonna outtake.
Yeah.
Penguin, why don't
See a lot
you
of rotations and let's fuck, I'm dead. Rotations and call it out. Fancy's gone. All right, right's
Penguin,
clear.
Go
Good
to the
place.
side. Just stay alive, Penguin, on the side. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I should have
Ready? It's alright, it's alright.
Oh, they spawn on me.
It's alright. They
Yeah.
got ball right.
One left.
Oh, I'm dead.
Fancy dead.
Shredded.
Not reload.
Ooh, boss, I'm coming for you. Ball's down.
Nice. Falls down.
Alright, they got ball back.
Oh my god.
ASpence got me left.
There's Fancy gone. Got ASpence.
Here, you got one flying around. He's coming back for you guys. You get sword out behind you.
He's dead. Alright, I'm dead. I'm dead.
Runner's
There's a
alone.
runner.
Get up for it, he's
Come,
getting up for
come
it.
back, guys. Come back, come back, come back.
They
Alright,
threw
he's gone.
back.
He threw it back out. Mine.
Nice.
I
Let's
love
go,
it.
Rage.
I
Round
love you.
one.
That was nice.
We have
Not bad, Epic.
No
Let's
worries.
go.
Alright,
Win
just
this,
get him.
win this tip off. Win this tip off. Call out where you
Just get
are
him, boys.
first as soon as you spawn. I got left.
I'm alright.
Mid.
Our chance of victory is steadily improving.
Fancy and dead. Good grab.
We have the ball.
I'm back there. I'm back there. I'm coming to it.
We have the ball. We have the ball.
Nice Rage.
Two.
Ball dropped.
You got one mid. What's your left?
One mid.
Good punch.
Looking for those refrags.
Traded.
I see you, Shrek.
Good punch. Working our way up there.
Throw it, throw it. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sorry, come back, come back, come back.
Accolade
Spread it out. Penguin, go right. I'm going left.
Oh, I'm dead.
Help him.
I'm down.
Left, left, come left.
One's still right.
Kills. Good kills.
Here, help, help.
I'm okay.
Good punch, good punch.
Get up court.
Damn it, Fancy. Got two tanks mid, careful. Good punch.
Hmm.
There's no way he gets
I'm gonna
that.
throw this one. I
Did
did
he get
not
out?
throw. So
You gotta
dumb.
get Fancy. Okay, nice. Good kill on Fancy. ASpence killed two.
Hmm.
Good kills. Got one tank left.
Didn't get him.
It's Fancy.
You gotta do a better job playing off each other.
ASpence left.
I got him.
Fancy middle. Going to plate.
My bad, Rage.
RTD. Oh, no, okay. As long as he's dead.
Traded ASpence.
Good kill. Damn it, Fancy, dude. Alright. Good plays, good plays. Keep going. They're rotating left. Need help left.
Dude, what a joke.
Fancy got me. Left side, left side, left side, left
Still
side.
left, still in.
Ah, fuck.
enemy is weak to bullets.
Admin manipulating his connection. So stupid.
Lost.
Alright, call out where you are. I got left. Just thrust as soon as you
Mid.
go.
I'm on right.
They have no idea.
grab. ASpence is mid. Good kill. I'll take it when you're on my side, Smurf. I got what? RTDS. Okay. Okay, no trade.
Fuck.
Oh, careful, careful.
Ball's
So
right.
go left.
I'll get
Ball's
ball.
right. One under spawn. Big kill, big kill. I trade. It's okay. Wow.
Dude, he's
Man's
so...
got two of us.
Oh my god.
Double kill.
So stupid.
Fancy's down. One more mid. Watch your left.
I threw back. I threw back. Ball's on
It's
our
on our
plate.
spawn, boys. They're all over us. Get it out. Get it out. Smart play. Smart play. I got Spence off spawn.
Still
I got
getting spawn
Fancy.
killed.
All right, I got 3 in our spawn. Better than a score. We're good.
Yep.
The runner's going left. Fortunate swing. He threw it right. You got one sword behind you. Good
I'm
grab.
still in their spawn.
Oh, okay, we're coming to you. We're coming to you. Come left,
Okay.
boys. Come left. Come left on spawn. Come to me.
Okay, I'll take that.
All right, good place. Oh no. Hey.
Two mid, two mid.
Fuck, I whipped.
He one-shots me. I
Where's
should
ball?
have
Where's ball?
thrown
Where's
it.
ball? Good
Pretty
plays.
boss.
Shrek, if you're trying to talk, you're muted, FYI.
I'm not.
Okay, that's fine. Going forward.
We got this,
We
guys.
got ASpence mid, 2 tanks right. ASpence got me what? Left. He's...
So mid.
We're getting cornered.
Stop feeding one by one. The only reason
got
they're
ASpence?
tanking us is because we're just letting them kill us one by one. We're not refragging. Penguin, you gotta play with me. That's the only way we beat them.
I'm dead. We got one spawn, tank in our left. Good kills.
Nice.
Fancy's on our left.
Wait for us. We're coming. We're coming.
Fancy's mid.
All right, come right and play with me. Let's go.
Spence is gone. We got one last tank in our back.
Go left. Right.
Good kills. Good kills. Good punch. Nice.
Hey, come right. Come right. Come right. Penguin, take middle. I got wall. Look for the refrag after they thrust in.
One mid.
Watch. Yeah. Watch it. Watch mid. Watch mid. It's Fancy. Yeah.
I got like
They're
3
all
swords
right,
on
all
me.
right. I'm getting spawn killed. Good escape. Nicely
Stay
done.
right. Stay right. Stay right. We're gonna stretch it out.
They're all dead.
Still right. So
Launch. Launch. Let's go.
Okay. Nice.
Nice. Good call.
Let's go. Win this tip off, man. Let's go. Call out where you are. Thrust as soon as you spawn. I got left.
mid.
Come on, right.
We are winning.
Fancy's down. One more in mid. Nice grab.
Bitch.
Fancy's out.
Back up. Back up. Back up.
Just trying to get boss to pull his damn sword out.
Yeah, that's fine. Careful, careful. We got tanks pushing. Got one. Got 2. I'm down.
Fancy. Yeah, you got me. Ball's down.
We're okay. We're okay. You kill Shrek. I'm on your right. Ball's down
How
right.
did Smurf not die there? I'm amazed.
Oh my god, no way he got that.
Pretty
Alright, we need kills. We
fancy.
need kills.
Kill something, please. Middle.
I got
middle,
boss.
Middle.
Spence is right.
He didn't die.
Stop.
Nice.
We got it.
One mid. One mid.
Come right, come right, come right, come right.
Ball dropped.
Epic, you can't keep pushing up that far. It's just gonna get you killed
Okay.
every time against them. I know I talk about taking space, but this
Yeah.
is one thing.
Killed mid.
Left.
If
Gotta
we're
move.
gonna take space, we gotta stretch.
Good kill on that spawner. Nice. Okay, push up.
Alright.
Spence got me.
Okay, come on. Play together. Come right, everybody.
Got Smurf. And 2.
ASpence one
One
shot in
Right,
here.
right.
Damn.
Right side. ASpence is there. We still need kills. Big kill, Penguin. Big kill. Right out, spread out. Nice. Good plays. Good plays. Good pressure. Good pressure. He threw the ball right. He can go to spawn. Let me get it.
Good ball, good ball.
I killed one on spawn.
Oh, I could. He spawned on the outside. That's so stupid.
Combat brain.
Good pressure though.
Sorry, they got ball right.
Got two. Runner's not weak. I didn't get a melee.
Sorry, it's good pressure. Keep it up. They're trying to move left. They're moving left. They got 2 left right now. I got Spence. Oh, we clashed. Cool. Fancy's lead. 2 tanks left. 2 tanks left.
Traded Fancy.
Killed ASpence.
Good kills. Good kills. Good team taking. Keep it up.
Dude, he's actually cheating.
He threw out. They threw out.
I'm still involved in that.
Ball's coming to our side. It's at mid. Taking a turn.
Spawning now.
Maybe trade. Nice.
Ball dropped.
Good kills. I got Fancy.
Good kills.
Oh, I died mid.
ASpence mid.
Alright,
Coming
come
back.
back.
Nice kill. Nice. Ah,
Got
thought you
one.
had him.
Come left, come left.
Okay, I'm coming to you.
Take that trade on our side. Thank you. We got 1 in our mid. I got spawn
one
killed
Fancy
on
is
our
up.
left. You got 1 tank in our mid.
Oh no.
Okay. That's insane.
One's still there mid. Hammer.
Nice kill.
Good kills. I got. Oh, he's alive. Spence is still alive. Watch your left. Watch your left.
No, I missed him. Fuck.
Spence is immune to Jesus Christ. All right.
Okay.
Come left. We got Fancy on our right spawn right now. I got him. I got him. Oh, oh.
Nice kills.
Oh, okay, we're good. Good plays. Good plays. Move up left.
Touch it, go right.
Fancy might get me here.
I got
Okay.
it, I got it, I got it.
I got you. I got you.
One mid.
Penguin, go right again. Stretch it out.
Oh, I got one more sword. Got 2 tanks in our mid. You got Spence?
Sorry.
Sorry, as long as he's dead. They're pressuring on our right. Boss is on our spawn. He is on our right spawn. He's coming to you right now.
Dead.
Still there. Still there. 2 there. 2 right.
Coming in right.
Runner weak.
Fuck.
I should just throw
Right,
out
you're
there.
close. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I killed boss and there was still 2 up. I just lost track of numbers.
I'm middle right.
Our chances of victory are dwindling.
RTDS, okay. Ball's down mid. God, they've got it right.
Thrusters at maximum.
Spence is right. They got 2 tanks right.
I'm
Or
dead,
left.
Spence.
Left. Got 1. Good double.
Fancy, right?
Got Fancy. Got 2. Got 1 in our mid, 1 in our right.
Nice swing, dude.
1 on the right's Fancy.
Runner's dead. Runner dead.
You got me? But they got it back. It's okay. Kill. All right, Fancy's gone. Good place.
Ball thrown.
Good reset.
Ball taken.
Got one in our mid. Oh, there's no way. Right side. Knee kills. Knee kills. Knee kills. Nicely done,
D.
Shrek. Nicely done.
Yeah, keep cheating, Spence. Keep manipulating that connection, fucking bitch.
They are off. Spence is on right. I'm whiffing. Runner is still right. He's got 2 tanks. The last one spawned left. Sorry, as long as he's dead, you're good. They're rotating left.
Got 2.
Good double. Good double.
Ball true.
They're rotating right now.
Pressure.
Good kill. Runner's weak. He threw it forward. Just keep tanking. I'll get it.
I'm on plate. Oh, I'm dead.
Okay. I'm here with you guys. All right, come back.
Nice.
Oh, Shrek still got it.
You're still there. Still there.
That was
Oh,
in.
so close.
Dude.
It's all right. It's all right. They got. Don't worry about it. Just keep going. They got ball left. Tanks up. Keep tank. 3 tanks left. 2 tanks still. We need kills. We need kills.
Runner's weak.
Gotta kill something
Still
here.
there. ASpence.
Got Spence.
Middle.
Ball's
I'm
weak.
getting spawn killed.
He's coming in middle. Yeah. We have to kill Fancy. He's just killing us right now.
Yeah, I got kill on spawn by him. I can't die to ball there.
Thrust.
I'm middle right.
We cling to the margins. Fight, Spartan.
Oh, still mid. Victor. All tanks are up.
Plate.
Okay.
Killed him.
Good kill. Fancy's on right. I
Nice
got him, he's
kill.
gone.
Keep the pressure.
Okay.
Pressure.
Pressuring runner's going right.
Right.
Oh,
I traded runner.
ball's down right.
We have the ball. Ball.
Alright, it's alright. Good try, good pressure.
Ball taken.
Nicely done, Penguin. They're starting to rotate left. Fancy got me.
Traded fancy.
Alright, we're 3 down. They're coming up left and mid. Spence got me left.
Spence
Good
dead.
refrag.
How does he kill me? Nice pressure.
Refrag. So got one more mid.
Runner weak.
Good kills. Fancy left. Nice, good refrag.
They
Good
threw
kills, he
right.
right. Runners through the ball right. Penguin, you have a 1-on-1 for that.
Ball's
Good
down.
place.
Ball's down.
I got it. This tank. Alright, I'm throwing this out.
That's over my head. I'm just gonna hold.
That's fine. We just want it back.
Somebody get ball.
I got it. Epic, come to me on
I'm
spawn.
behind you.
Come to me left.
Fancy behind.
See one in the back.
Fancy's dead.
Spence is
Right.
still there.
Come right.
Coming to you,
Come
Shrek.
right.
One
Yeah,
mid,
gotta
one
get
mid,
out.
one mid, 3 mid.
Spence is still there. He's 1 shot. Fancy's gone.
Is that a clash?
Free
What
clash.
the hell?
Yeah, that's the 3rd one this game. Or a 2nd. Oh, watch that tank. You have to get that out. Oh, nicely done. Go left. Oh, and Shrek gets that kill.
Double kill.
Stretch it out.
I traded.
Come left. Come left.
Yep.
Launch here.
Got fancy. They got one spawner.
Ah, fuck.
Dude,
Damn, another one. It's alright, it's alright.
I just took too long to come down.
Spence got me mid. Good pressure.
Mm.
Runner staying left. He's trying to cross right though. He's crossed right. Two tanks left.
Runner's weak.
Still left. Kills.
come on,
Down.
on the
Spence
right,
is still
on the
there.
right, on the right.
I got you.
Oh, fuck.
I'm down. Fancy's on her spawn.
Play,
On her
play,
spawn.
play,
On her
play,
spawn.
play.
Ah, it's my fault. I fucking
It's
got a
crazy
double
how he
betrayal.
survived all that. Oh no.
That
I
sucks,
thought he
dude.
got like kills like in the front of him, behind him. I thought that was insane.
I fucking blanked
It's
him.
alright, we've had
Killed
opportunities.
both of
This is
you.
very close. We can get this. This is a. They've gotten 2 goal lines. We can get this back.
Are you thrusting in the air when I launch you, or what's happening?
I did not thrust in the air. I was just had hang time. That's all that was.
It doesn't seem like they should be able to catch you there. That's
It was the spawner that killed me.
It was a spawner. It was
Yeah.
Fancy spawned.
Thank you for the bit, Victoria. Appreciate it.
Do we get anti cheat on that?
Yeah, because they're all using exit lag like a bunch of fucking faggots.
Don't say nothing that's gonna get us banned off Twitch, please. It's alright. We can get this. We can get this.
All right, we got to make a new lobby, so someone has to leave.
I will back out.
I mean, it's all super preventable mistakes. Like we
Yeah.
had silly turnovers. I mean, we're not tanking together. Like I swear to you, I'm trying as hard as I can. I'm trying to kill as much as I can. But if I'm 2v1 and we don't get refrags, they're just gonna steamroll us. So
See, we're
Penguin-
having like really good moments where we are getting that, and then but if we just have a little lapse, it's where it's just where they
Turn
take
volume
us.
up on your stream. We'll do. Let me open
Just
my
gotta stay
audio
consistent,
mixer.
stay focused.
Game volume or Discord volume, Lux?
I can do better myself. So let's all do
Yeah,
better.
I could definitely get less turnovers.
Yeah, I started to get used to the.
Is that
thing we're
better,
doing at
Lux?
the end.
Oh, my own mic?
Spence is asking if you
Wait.
rebookmark the game mode because it doesn't
Was-
automatically do it.
Was my mic off that whole game for stream?
Epic,
how
you hear me?
Yeah, I have.
Oh my god! Could you not? You couldn't hear me at all. You only heard me through Epic Stream or what? Because I was talking constantly.
What does 07 mean?
Like a salute.
Okay.
All right. I mean, really, the biggest things are we have to team tank. I cannot overwhelm this team by myself. There's too much tanking power between Spence and Fancy. So we have to get refrags. Like if they thrust in and kill one of us, somebody has to be able to thrust in and get that kill. Because if we can do that consistently, we're gonna leave Epic in 1v1 scenarios, and he should win. So tip-offs too.
Alright.
We gotta figure out tip-offs. I would like to take the middle, but it gets tricky if I'm not spawning on the middle. So, do you guys want me to try to take middle, or what do you want to do?
Whatever you're
'Cause
more
I-
comfortable with. All I know is that I spawned middle right and went forward every single time that game. Like every game was it was on the same spot.
It seemed to me that game our middle kept dying a lot, and then it was like Shrek and myself isolated. Like if you're in the middle there, we gotta stay around. Otherwise, they're gonna get one guy going to our plate, separating us. And I think that's why we weren't able to team tank, was because our mid was dying first, like way too early. Like I'd rather have the person in front of me.
Because I'm always going forward. That's
Yeah,
because when I hang back, I'm useless. We've seen that all season.
I think if I can take the middle with Rage.
Yeah, I'd rather have the person on my wall die because I can rotate out of that. But when my mid dies, they're separating our court in half, and that's causing problems.
Yeah, I mean we can do it. We just have to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had our opportunities. We can absolutely get this.
ASpence said he'll DM me when he's ready.
Yeah, they're probably all changing their exit lag server to pull the server to West Coast or some nonsense.
Wouldn't that only benefit
I mean,
me?
I don't what server even was that? I was on 38 ping. I've never had that ping in my life.
I think I was getting high 60s, so that's pretty familiar. That's pretty much what I've been playing on all season.
I was like 40, which is not a server I typically get. I'm usually 50 or 60. I don't know what fucking 40 is.
That just doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm Midwest. Spence is Midwest. Fancy is Texas. Maybe it was Texas. I don't know.
Last night, I believe Fancy is Texas.
Okay, are we ready?
Yep.
I'm ready.
Yep.
Okay. Let's get this, guys. Bring this shit
I'll
back.
clean it up.
All right, let's get it, boys.
Mm-hmm. Epic, I'll try to lower the trajectory on the launches. I'm just trying to go high so that they can't kill you right off the launch.
Yeah, that last one just had way too much height. I took forever to come down. They spawned, and then I couldn't even get to the ground to punch.
All right, Penguin, you take left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thrust and go in front of you. You can wait a second, then thrust out to the left a little bit.
Yeah, I'm middle right.
I'm dead.
They got it mid.
Swing.
Fancy
Fancy
still on
still
our
in our
spawn?
spawn.
I got the one at our spawn.
They got 2 more tanks coming up with ball. With fuck me.
ASpence left.
Oh, need kills. No need kills. Coming in left. Coming in left. Coming in left. Coming in left.
Traded ASpence.
Yeah, no. Nah, we just got completely outkilled.
Damn.
All right, let's go. Same thing on tip off. Rage, you got to stretch out right a little bit more. You and I were like right on each other.
All right.
Make them pay for this momentary inconvenience.
Ball's on our side. Grab
One.
Got it.
Good grab. We got one on our mid.
Get out of here.
RTDS. Solid. Fancy's mid. Ooh. You got one in the air. Shocker. Oh.
Stay
Need more
alive,
kills.
stay alive. Stay alive.
Unbelievable.
You're going to have to throw it.
I'm getting spawn kill.
I got
Fancy's
betrayed.
on our pad. Fancy's on our pad. Ball's going left.
I spawned right.
You know, sword coming, Penguin.
Nice kill, Penguin.
Good place. Good place. Come right. Come right.
I'm trapped.
You're behind Slayer.
Nice trade.
And boss down.
Get up court if you can.
We are super spread. Super spread. Come on. Come on.
That's so stupid. I'm on the
Oh, I
out
whiffed. I
purple.
totally whiffed.
One mid.
Got Spence.
That kills me. Nice.
I got it. Oh, get off me. I threw ball back. I threw ball back. We're good. We're good. We're good. You got position.
So stupid.
insane. I can't lunge fancy ever. One on our spawn.
Through
On our
right,
right spawn.
left.
He's in the air. He's in our plate.
I got him. I got him. Ball's still left. All right, good plays. Good clear. Moving up left. Strike's got room right. Let's move up to him. Move up to him.
Still one mid.
Got one behind you. One behind you. Insane. I don't get these kills. Come left. Come left. Come left. Got two on our spawn.
Through right.
Oh,
Sorry,
I got ball, I
sorry.
got
You
ball.
can't predict
Still on our
that. You
plate. Still on
can't
our
predict
plate.
that.
Still on our plate.
I got him. I got him. Good clear.
We're just getting
What?
tanked.
Left. Come
One
left.
on the right.
Yeah, they're all over us right now. Traded with one. Fancy's gone. Fancy's ASpence is still left. Gotta go right.
We gotta live.
That's gone.
Okay.
I got two.
Nice kill, Shrek.
Whiffs again, dude. Me and boss suck. We're just whiffing.
Throwing left.
Ball's coming left. Where'd it land? I got it.
One on our plate.
I'm throwing it back right. All the way to, it got deflected. It's still on the left. It's
I got
right
ball.
on. Nice. Good grab.
I'm dead on plate.
Get it out of here. Nice. Sword
One
on our
still on
spawn. Still on
plate.
our left spawn.
I got spawn
Go
kill.
up right. Go up right. Go up right. Go up right. Go up right. Ball's right.
I'll get
All right,
ball.
two down. Two down.
Got a hammer on you.
Go
As long as
fancy.
he's dead, we're good. Yep, he's dead. Fancy's
Go to
down.
plate, Shrek.
Got two. There we go.
Let's
Nicely
go.
done. Wow, that was a
Let's go,
scrappy
man.
round.
I am not trying to lose, man. Let's go.
I don't want to.
I got middle. Penguin go left.
Our chance of victory is steadily improving.
Got Banshee.
Take ball. Take ball.
Nice kill.
Oh my god.
Mid.
This game is such a joke.
You got one in, two in our mid. Two in our mid.
Throwing
You're right to
right.
throw that. Come to me right. Come to me right.
Left if you need it.
You got one behind me. I threw it left. I threw it left.
Nice kills.
Good kills. Good kills. Good clear. Good clear. You got boss on left. Got two. Start moving right. Fancy's gone. So it's Spence. Got one. Nice kills. Got one more right. In the air.
Go.
I can't see him. Okay. He was a
One
lot
mid.
higher than I expected. Nice kills.
Got two.
Mike, Epic, you gotta get out of the way, dude. I can't
Okay,
fucking
my
play
bad.
if you're standing right in
Start
front.
moving right. Start moving right.
Getting spawn killed. There's a guy in spawn.
Boss got me mid.
One right.
You're going to have to throw that.
Yeah, dead.
Right side. Right side. Right
They were
side.
in the passing lane.
There's still one in our spawn. We need kills. We need lots of kills. Runner's weak. Got still two in our mid. Good pressure. Oh no, I'm dead. Fuck. All tanks mid. All tanks mid. I'm getting spawn
Yeah.
kill. Just need more kills.
Yeah, I can't really do anything when there's a guy just flying around and nobody kills him. I'm trying to look at the other guys.
Yeah, we got it. Right side middle. Well, I am.
No idea what they're messing with.
I'm down. Ball is to the left.
Alright,
All tanks are up. All tanks are up. We need kills.
I'm getting spawn killed.
I got the ball. I'm down though. Fuck. I try to get it out. Come on, guys. We're not done yet. Kills. Focus on kills. I'm middle right.
But not
I got ball.
Got one. I'm down. Spence is way right.
He's mid.
I got that sword. 3 tanks left. Start moving right. I'm down.
One plate
Got it.
still.
Spence is gone.
Throwing left.
And it's still there. Ball. Go left. Go left.
One right.
Yeah, they're on our right spawn. Gotta go forward. On our right spawn still.
I'm dead.
I'm getting spawn killed. Yeah, we gotta get. Oh. Shit.
Yeah, they're just in our spawn.
I did not mean to do that, for the record. What just happened on stream? I did not mean to do that. I'm on middle right, and I'm so slow.
Fuck.
He threw it. Still mid.
Behind you.
Wow, I got that trade.
How does that kill you?
Oh, balls on.
You're in front of... I don't know, dude. You're behind me.
Our TDS. That was weird. Still tanks all in our mid. One more.
Penguin, come left with me. Everybody come left. Penguin, play with me. Let's go.
Smurf in mid.
Still mid.
I'm down. Good kill.
Dude, let me kill them.
I don't even
Just
think I'm
get
in-
out of the way.
You got one more behind you still? There's one on our spawn. One on our spawn. Ball's
Balls
landing
in
on
the
our left.
spawn, they deflected it.
There's nothing I can do.
Alright, well, GG's. That was a shit show.
Yeah, it's too bad. That was a lot of being outkilled. I accidentally used a hammer. Oh, unfortunate. GG's, boys. Good season.
Yeah, GG's.
I mean, we were getting spawn... I don't know who Bubbly is, but we're fucking getting spawn killed the entire game. Like...
Yeah, we were constantly on their back the entire time. Yeah, that was rough. I actually got a fuck ton of kills with the sword in that round. That's kind of insane. Wait, I need to go back. Did I get a kill with that hammer? Because it looks terrible because it's the exact thing I said I would not do. Like, it was like, as they were going in and I swung, it was just, I was too fast. I was too slow to switch. Oh no. Will it tell me? It did. Oh, I gotta be.
Well,
Oh, I ruined everything.
thank you guys for playing with me this season. I wanted a better outcome than that, but you know, I think
It's all good.
we definitely
was-
played really good game one. I don't know, we couldn't quite really generate enough pressure.
No, that
Yeah,
was
we
that-
got
that
we got
was
out tanked.
all of them.
Like, I think that comes down to, like, I don't know, maybe we need a fucking hammer, but not just, I don't want to put it on you, but damn.
Well, no. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Absolutely would have helped, but in that second game, I did have the most kills in the team. So
Yeah.
in that sense,
I don't know. I kept
but
getting.
at the same
I
time,
got betrayed as runner like 3 times, like second game. I don't think I was like in front of him that much. There was one like I was behind. Like I don't know. I think we definitely pissed Shrek off, but I get it. He's a competitor. And yeah, I just sucks. I got betrayed with bomb like wrapping back across their plate.
I'm just so bummed that in the second to last round, I accidentally swung the hammer. I think I killed ASpence and I betrayed somebody on spawn. My only betrayal and my only hammer kill in the second to last round of the season. It was a complete accident. It affected nothing, for the record. It affected nothing. Yeah, wait. Oh, man. Alright, GG's, boys. I'm turning stream off. Or do we have people? Can I raid Zoo?
But I think that's like the best I feel like I've actually played in a playoff game. Like I fucking shit the bed when I was on Solus's team. And I shit the bed when I was on ASpence's team. This one I felt like I did pretty good game one. Yeah, I had a couple turnovers, but most of them were there was a couple times I got betrayed with bomb, like inner corner, which didn't matter. And then yeah. I don't know. I felt like I did decent game one, but
there we go.
I was refragging decently against Fancy, which is what he asked me to do. But
go watch speedruns, boys.
Yeah. I'm just gonna raid out here. It's fun playing with you, Rage. Like the co-stream all season. That was good.
Considering the handicap I put myself on and the way we started this season, I think playoffs were unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, I think a team that isn't that good as a tanking line, like I felt like all of them could get kills, and they bought a lot of time, like with their fucking hammer jumps. Like they're all like alive longer, and they take that extra fucking second to kill because they're all fucking in the air, and then that allows them to hold space longer. And you know, I don't think our strategy was working because like we work a little bit on a faster pace, like with the sword, but then they would buy a lot of time, which made I think it was just a bad matchup. But gonna raid out here. Appreciate everyone that came by, and if you're going to Salt Lake City HCS, I got some Grifball stickers. Come get them. Anyways, see you guys.